Hello, so this is my this is like an Eagle tutorial for people that need that wanted it with voice. So all I did was I created a parent class called Animal Base. There's nothing in here, just a capsule. There's nothing in here. And then I created a child of it called Eagle. And for the child I added the movement input for gamepad and mouse, camera input for mouse, jump input. And I added the Eagle mesh, that's it, right? And I turned the location on the z-axis to -33 and the rotation to -90, and I also shrunk the capsule half height to 34. So when I start, I spawn in as an eagle, and this is everything I can do, right? And these are the settings I affected. You know, when I added the spring arm in the camera, you spawn control rotation and enable camera lag, enable camera rotation lag 8 and 6. Right. If I uncheck this, I won't be able to use my mouse to turn. Or I will, but I won't be able to go up and down. I'll just be able to go left and right. And I think the reason why I'm able to use my mouse is because yeah, see, this is checked. So normally I wouldn't be able to turn at all unless I check that box. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay. There we go. Alright, so in order to use the mouse to turn, I'm also going to turn this to 300. I'm going to change the use controller desired rotation. That way the eagle's always facing the direction that I'm looking. There we go. Okay, let's get started. So this is the eagle tutorial, part 2. So I'm going to go to the mesh. I'm going to find the mesh. Then I'm going to create an anim blueprint. Right here. Create a new folder, call it ABP for animation blueprint. Put it in there. And I'll call it eagle anim blueprint. The idle in this is called stand. So I'm going to use the stand in place for now, just to see if this animation blueprint's working, and it is. But this is stand as if you're on like a branch or something. I want to use stand ground as if he's on the ground. Okay. So it's working, right? But it looks like the capsule is too tall, so I'm gonna lower the capsule height just a little bit, probably by 1 or something. There we go. Yeah, much better. So this is the eagle in idle position. All the controls are working and everything, right? If I jump, that happens. Okay, so where should we start? I'll start from the ground first. So I'm gonna write the anim blueprint for the ground, but first I need the logic. So I'm gonna just create, I do this in every video, but I'm just gonna create a function called character logic. Add the delta seconds, or add a float value. You can call it whatever you want. I'm just gonna call it delta seconds. I'm saving. And now I'm just gonna copy the Paragon blueprint. I do this all the time. Okay, so here we go. Copy and paste. Copy. Control C. Control V. I'm gonna delete this. Delete this. Delete this. I don't need the full body. I don't need these notifications. I don't even need acceleration. I just need this. And probably is flying as well. So, property access. Get movement component. Is falling. I'm also going to add a is flying one here as well, because the eagle can fly. So this one's for is falling. Another one. Is flying. I'm going to create that variable right now. Promote to variable is flying. Calculate direction. Get actor rotation. Property access. Get base aim rotation to replace this one. So, although this says base rotation, you want to use get actor rotation. Although it says base rotation. Okay, the reason why I'm not talking because I do this all the time. Just copy the Paragon blueprint. You know, this is like standard procedure for any of my tutorials. And then replace get actor rotation. Okay, cool. Right, and then from this function, delta seconds, you want to call that right here. Get delta seconds. Right here, variables. Boom, plug that in. Control C and plug it in right here. This is the lean intensity. This is how your lean is calculated. In case you want to add lean to any character, you could just play with these values. Uno and dos, the interpolation speed and the numbers divided by. Okay. Cool, it's working, right? So now I'm gonna go to blueprint thread safe animation, character logic. Right. The reason why it's not working because I didn't check thread safe, but now it is. Right. So now we have all the animation blueprint logic that we need. So now we just need to plug in the animation. So I'm going to create two layers, one for in-ground and one for flying. Flying. Right. Back to Animecraft. I'm going to delete this because I don't need it. Okay. And now I'm going to use this is flying boolean that we created earlier. Blend by bool. Check. So if the player is flying, do this. If the player is not flying, do this. And then inertialization. Boom. To be honest, normally I would probably put here. I'm actually just gonna add it for this video. So then I'll put like upper body layer, and then I'll put like IK layer. And then for the upper body, I'm gonna have 2 inputs. Oh no. Here in the animation layer, I'm gonna add upper body and IK. One for flying, one for ground. Actually, I don't need that because I have this blend by bool. So I'm just gonna delete this and call this completed loco. Right. I'm gonna push this out. Go to IK. Add a layer. Here I'm gonna add full loco. Cool. Working. Okay, so this is the setup, right? So if the player is flying, calculated by bool, let me just change the smoothness of this so that it operates on a better looking curve. This is the curve, right? Instead of the default one, which is linear. This one is just more smooth, it'll smoothly transition. Cubic is also good. I'm gonna just put 0.2. That usually works. There we go. Cool. So if the player is flying, play this one. If he's not flying, play with the on ground. Upper body, IK, neutralization. Cool. So let's start with on ground first, right? So on ground, this is the idle, right? So I'm gonna cache this. I'm gonna put this in its own state machine. Call it idle. Ground idle. Let me cache it. Ground idle. I'm gonna add one for ground movement. And for the jumping, I'm gonna use a animation montage for this character. For the ground, but for ground movement, I'm just gonna plug that in. State, ground idle. Call it ground idle. Right. So now the ground movement, okay, so now I gotta look through the animations, right? Alright, perfect. So now there's a walk animation in place, run. Walk, run. Okay. So I click the skeleton icon over here, then I'm gonna search for it, and now I'm gonna create a blend space. And for this spline space, I'm gonna use a ground movement, and it's gonna be a 1D blend space. But I'm also gonna copy that and call that ground lean. Okay. So let's go to walk first. Walk. Right, I'm gonna do speed 0 to, I'll say like 150 or something, right? Run in place, okay. Okay. So I'm actually gonna delete the idle and just use this. I'm gonna plug in a speed variable. Right. So the reason why it's not working because these aren't plugged in yet. So I'm just gonna plug that in. Plug this in, and then boom, it's working. Okay, perfect. So because this is calculated by speed and the maximum axis value is 100, I'm just gonna decrease this movement, right? So I'm gonna walk speed. I'm gonna change this to 100. I'm also gonna change the acceleration. The acceleration is exactly what it sounds like. Acceleration, like the speed from 0 to like 100, whether or not it's slow or fast, right? So if this is like 0 to 100, if I put this at like 6,000, it's gonna go to 100 like instantly. But if I set it to like for an eagle, probably 250, it's gonna gradually move to 100. It's gonna go like 1, then 5, then 10, until it reaches 100, versus just going straight to 100. Right, so here we go. Much better. And for eagle, you might not want the eagle to turn this way, because I don't know if eagles can walk side to side or backwards. But I'll show you that in a second. But I just want to change the speed again from 100 to like 40. You can see he's walking. Right, so for the eagle, I'm going to add another input, another graph, and I'm going to call it inputs. And whenever I press left shift, I'm just going to change the speed. Set back to walk speed. So whenever I release it, do this. So 140. And the default speed is 40. Yep. There we go. Oh man. Just to minimize foot slide, I just want to see how this plays out. Okay. There we go. Alright, so let's see. The sprint's a good speed, but the walk might need to be slightly slower. I'm gonna change this to 20. And I'm also gonna change this to 20. Okay. So for here, I'm just gonna, I think that was the problem. Yeah, this was set at 50. So maybe if I set this to 40, set this back to 40, and then set this to 40, it'll work. Yeah, there we go. Still a little foot sliding, but I'll try 30. This is all cosmetic, by the way. You don't have to actually do all this. You can play with it to your liking. Ready? See. Much better. You could even slow it down if you wanted. Like 20 probably will be the best. Okay, so set this back to 20. 20. And then 20. So basically the character movement, whatever speed this is, the max walk speed, has to align with whatever animation you want to play at that speed. So this is set to 20, you can see it right here. And at 100 I want to play a different animation, right? So at 100 I want him to play this, at 20 I want him to play this. You just correlate this with whatever speed you want. But that's like basic knowledge. There we go. Looks like he's actually walking without his foot moving. You just play with the values. There we go. Okay, perfect. So before I end this video, I'm gonna add jump. Right, here we go. So instead of using this jump, I'm just gonna use a play montage. So here we go. Custom event. Eagle jump. And here I'm gonna play montage. Okay. And for the jump, I'm going to use root motion. And it's called hopping, right? So I'm going to browse the asset. Right click, create a montage. I'm going to call it eagle jump. Great. So here I'm going to add another slot manager. One's going to be upper body. One's going to be full body. And these slots are just, they're here. They're default slots. They're default slot. That's what these are. And then you just change it. And you could set it here or on the animation blueprint. You could also add another one. I'll call it that. And then as you can see, it'll pop up right here. But I don't need it, so I'm going to delete slot. So I'm going to put this in between these two. This is usually where I put my full body. Right here. This is where I put my full body normally. And I usually put my upper body in upper body node. And honestly, these are just functions, if you ask me. They're like animation graph functions, animation layers. It's just a way to like add a lot into one section. It's just a way to maintain organization. That's why I use these. It's just for organization. It's not like, it doesn't help in any other way. It's just a way to stay organized. But yeah, these are just functions basically for the animation graph. Right, so this is full body. Let's save this, but I'm also going to close it. Don't need it. So now I'm going to set this slot to full body. I'm going to change this to cubic. Remember, these are just curves. This is just how I blend in and out of this animation montage. So whenever I press jump, I just want it to play eagle jump. Okay. I'm going to change the camera. The best part about the spring arm is whenever you manipulate the camera, all you have to do is reset the position, and it'll go right back to wherever you had it originally set. Ready? So he's moving, sprinting, moving, sprinting, moving. If I press jump, nothing's happening because I didn't set this montage. I didn't set the montage right here. Eagle jump. Now I set it. Ready? So it's walking, sprinting, walking, sprinting, jump. Look at that. And if you want to add like rotation, you just set rotation, y'all. That's it. And also on interrupted. So usually whenever you want to exit a montage, normally I would use like blend out, but you also want to put on interrupted as well. In case you add like enemies, you want to definitely, like these two, they should be like the same node basically, but whenever you complete anything or notify begin or whatever, or on interrupted, you always want to use this. Whenever you start adding like AI or enemy AI, you're going to understand why you really want to use the uninterrupted as well as the blend out. So that whenever it exits the animation, it doesn't still have this prior logic. It'll use this logic. It'll use the logic for exiting the animation. Right, so now if I press W, it'll turn wherever I want to go. I don't know why my video memory is out of budget, but whatever. There we go. And then if you want to smooth out the blending time, I'm going to put 0.4 instead. There we go. Much smoother. There we go. Too bad this doesn't have like a turn in place. So back to what I was saying before, you probably don't want the eagle to go backwards or sideways. Mainly because we don't have animations for that. So this is where you manipulate that. So basically, if the player is going forward, execute this. If it's greater than 0, I'll put a branch. I'm going to preset this no matter what. Going to spread this out. So if the player is greater than 0, use this. If it's not greater than 0, don't use it. Ready? So I'm gonna use print string. Control C, Control V. Right? So perfect. So here I'm gonna type move forward. And then I'm gonna probably type don't move forward. Perfect. I'm gonna put a red thing here. Red and green. Ready? So don't move forward. Don't move forward. Move forward. Don't move forward. Move forward. Now I can't move backwards. Now one thing I just learned is that I didn't know that this was basically constantly running. I didn't know that this was always running. I didn't know that. So basically this is calculating 0. I didn't know that. It was always running, but yeah. And then for here, you probably don't want the eagle to move right or left. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the character movement. Then I'm going to type in is flying. So if the eagle is flying, I'm going to put it in a branch. And this is always going to be set no matter what. So if the eagle is flying, I want you to use this input. But if the eagle is not flying, then don't use it. So right now, if I try to use my directional keys, it won't work unless I'm going forward and I'm using my mouse. And it's just because like an eagle can't walk side to side in real life, and it can't. I don't know if eagles walk backwards. They might walk backwards. But for this example, I don't want the eagle to walk backwards. I don't know how I want to jump. So if you keep pressing space, this will happen. If we want to eliminate that. If we don't want the stuttering to happen. Just gonna get this, get anim instance. Is any montage playing? If anything is playing, then do not do it. So if any montage is already playing, don't play this. But if any montage is playing, don't do anything. If it's not playing, play this. So if a montage is playing, do nothing. If a montage is not playing, you can execute this code or logic or whatever, blueprint, whatever it is. So now this, no matter how much I spam, it'll only play once. Nice. So in the next video, I'm going to start with the flying. And then, I should be done. Eagle jump. Just going to throw this. Eagle jump. Eagle jump. So. Okay, so in part 2, I'm going to focus on the flying logic. Thanks for watching.